Tubers, Tibets, crazy people. I think we can all agree that on a good day, life is hard. Now, compound that with being raised in the Philippines, a developing country where your parents are poor, your siblings are many, and your opportunities are few. What are the odds that you will fail? Well, they're pretty damn good. And coming up is a gentleman that did just that. He failed over and over and over again. Here's his story. Okay, so JR, do me a solid and maybe let me know a little bit about your beginnings. You know, your childhood, where you grew up, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. I grew up in southern part of Cebu, a place somewhere in Moalboal, which is one of a tourist destination also. Up until early years, like around 5 to 6 years old, and we transferred to Cebu City, Philippines.
Okay.
So there I was molded, and we stayed for the city up until now. And I just actually like for the last 32 years we've been staying in Cebu City on different places.
And what was it like? I mean, were you affluent? Were your parents well off?
We started on the humble beginnings. Basically, the typical Filipino life, which is actually like we don't have much as what we should have. We lived in a very small room, shall I say. We have that room as our bedroom, as our dining room, and a little extension of our toilet and bath. So that's how we grew. And basically, we have a hard life before.
Did you know days where you were hungry?
Yeah, many times.
Really?
And it's really something that a different perspective come into play when you experience that. And along the way, you'll have a choice. It's either you're gonna dwell with that, or really you want that to be improved. I remember before that I slept or sleeping without food on the table for dinner, and you end up like drinking water, so that it will actually somehow ease that emptiness in your stomach, and then later on do that again for breakfast.
And that's pretty commonplace out here.
It is.
And I watched that happen generation after generation after generation.
Sure.
Father sets an example, or mother or parents, son follows, daughter follows.
Sure.
Was that example set for you? Did your parents work hard? What was the situation like? Was it a tough environment, or I don't know?
It was a tough environment for our siblings because we don't have much. So that particular mantra, like the parents sets an example, I go different way. Because I decided from the early stage, since high school, that I don't want to live this life anymore, and I want to provide a better living for my siblings, my parents, and now my family, because that is my mere obligations. Let's put it in this way, that my parents can only do so much in terms of them functioning to be setting off the legacy for themselves. We all have different functions along the way, but however, I intend to do this, take a look at the different road to have a better life.
And let's not beat up your parents.
Yeah, of course, I'm not.
Because it's easy to do that. We tend to play the blame game.
Yeah.
And a lot of American kids will blame their parents for their problems. And I believe we generate our own problems, regardless of what happened, unless it was something really outlandish. But your father did like his father, and your mother like her mother. And let's face it, if you're poor here in the Philippines and you begin to have the family, which is the number one priority for almost everyone here, and there's no real opportunity to jump on, then they're not to blame. They're simply kind of going with the flow. And I think that 95% of all people on the planet anyway do the same thing, no matter what country they're in. They just kind of go with what they find is the way to go. But you bucked that system. You were like in the 5%. And you saw when you were young that you were hungry. You saw your parents working and trying. but never getting past that day-to-day existence.
Yes.
So when did you start to break away from that? How old were you?
I started to break away with that during around middle school, high school in the Philippines.
How old were you?
15, 16.
Okay.
When I actually I was about to go to a college school, and that is where I actually started to realize that, wow, this life is really hard. Because it's not really, it's very hard for you to live life and shall we say the definition of live, because it's very unique to every individual. We all have different definition. We all have different aspects, and I totally agree with you. Like we're not on the blaming game. However, recently I just realized that I could not be the person who I am today if that particular circumstances has not been experienced.
Isn't that something?
And that is something.
If everything had been handed to you and it was easy, you would not be the JR that you are today, right?
I may not be the JR now.
No, I see that too, and that's worldwide condition.
True.
They're called trust fund babies. And they usually end up doing nothing but pleasing themselves and being fairly unhappy.
True.
But you're a happy guy.
I am.
Every time I see you got a big grin on your face. And I think you're always looking forward to moving forward and going on and further and further and further. So what happened when you first tried to start your own business or make your own way? How did that go? Did you meet with success right off the bat?
Unfortunately, no. I failed a lot of times, even starting to my college years. When I have my first year in college, I had the opportunity to join with, to live with another family.
Okay.
Basically, starting from the ground, I assist them to doing the car wash, taking a look at their children, making tutorials of their assignments and so on and so forth. That's about a year. And they actually provided me with certain allowances, and where in fact I totally recognize them up until now, and I give my full gratitude to those people, because I always take a look at back where I'm coming from.
Right.
Like, it's not really easy. You're given a certain budget for your allowances, financial allowances, and the typical lunch box that you have.
So they took you up a notch from where you were.
Yes.
These people took you in.
Yes.
They allowed you to work in their home.
Yes.
You did their car wash. You took care of the kids and kind of like household chores and things like that. Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay. And they didn't have to do that. And it was a stretch on their budget.
Yes.
So you've never forgotten them.
Yes, of course.
And then where did you go from there? Did you try your own businesses or?
After on the second up until the last years of my college years, I actually do some training because I was a varsity player of badminton before, so my tuition is free. So what I need to take a look at right now is my daily allowances for my fare and other incidental expenses, and also extending that forming part of to my parents and siblings. So what I did after the second year, I actually became a trainer of badminton. So I do train badminton before.
Were you naturally talented at that?
No.
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 So you had to practice and work out and hit repetitively?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So you weren't just born a badminton
player. Where in fact I can give a full credit to my father to that, because there was actually going back to my elementary years or the primary years where in fact he sees me, okay, hey, they like to play this? Okay, and he accompanied me from every trainings that I have, even if for the lack of financial aspects that we have. But there is one thing that I can always remember, that we went to Manila because we were invited for a training, 2 months, summer. That's April and May. First day of the training, everything was a hell. Like literally hell. I vomited on that first day. The second day, I can barely get up. Everything was just in pain. And he throws me one question. It's either you're gonna go up or join the training again, or we're gonna go home.
So he left it up to you?
Yes.
And you said?
And I said, I'll get up. This is just temporary, and everything has been like very beneficial.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I got a feeling that may have been a big turning point in your life.
It is.
That was like the synopsis that took you off.
Yes.
That took you beyond.
Yeah.
And you know what? I got to go back to your father and how we blame our parents or whatnot. although your parents, or your father didn't have money, he didn't have all these material things to give you, but from hearing this story, he gave you his time.
Yes.
And he gave you his encouragement.
Exactly.
And he was smart enough to let you go ahead and make it or break it right there in that moment.
Yeah.
So there's another good father story, right?
Yeah,
it is. You don't have to have a lot to be a good father, but you have to be engaged and you have to be connected.
True.
And so that's got to be a beautiful memory. So now you're teaching badminton and you're making a few dollars and you're getting a salary, but did I hear you correctly? The majority of the salary is going right back to the family?
Yes, correct.
Not a lot going into your pocket?
Yes.
Okay. What happened after that? Where did you go from there?
So upon being a trainer of badminton, it gives me a better network in terms of knowing people. I have some trainers. I have a trainee who is actually a business owner, had a good position on some firms here in the Philippines. And then when I graduated, I actually took like 14 years in the making.
Wow.
I was being employed as an encoder, as a medical representative, as a sales representative for a pharma company which is focusing on the consumer drugs, which is over the counter. And also I was a distribution specialist before that, handling our fast-moving commodities like noodles, biscuits, and so on and so forth.
So each one of those jobs, would you say that you were a raging success at it?
No.
Because the titles were very impressive.
No.
Your business card looked good.
It's forming part of my experience.
But every time you went out and you did the farmer rep or any of the other things that you mentioned, what happened?
Yeah.
I mean, did you stay with them or?
The last time I jumped into companies thereafter, on average between 2 to 3 years.
2 to 3 years.
Yeah, 2 to 3 years. Because I always carried that with me since high school. I want to make a living better than this.
But you didn't have any breakthroughs on any of those jobs?
No.
Okay. Well, those are hard gigs, you know, especially, I know the farmer reps. I see them. They come in with their samples, and you got to try to get in to see the doctor, but the doctor doesn't want to talk to you because the other farmer reps got better presents and better gifts and vacations, and here you are, you know. So when did you start being self-employed? I mean, when did you break away from a job and trying to make your own way?
I had a major decision that I need to take when I actually get married. Decided to get married then. My sister before used to start with the real estate as an agent. Then I got interested because the potential of earnings in real estate is really big. Okay. So I tried it. Then I decided, okay, I'm gonna quit my job. I'm gonna start here. But eventually, coming up to realize that you really need to be equipped and ready to do that. And you should actually start with your why. Why are you doing that? Eventually, it does not work that easy and fast. So we tried the buko business. That's the first failure that I got. The buko business, where in fact I need to buy that in the local market because I cannot buy that in the provincial areas. That's too costly for me. I put that. Imagine 100 buko juice on a car, a sedan car. 100 pieces of that. How heavy is it? I tried that.
So you tried selling buko juice?
Yes.
Which is coconut water?
Yeah, coconut water.
Okay.
So there's a time that actually bought 100 coconuts and placed them in the car, the typical car. Just imagine that.
Selling it out of his trunk.
Like a lot of a trunk,
like a hot TV
the back seat, in front. Those are the memories that actually I treasure because without that experience, I wouldn't be here.
How many of the 100 did you sell?
I sold all of them because the buko itself, I need to split it up and I need to put it in the cups, and I'm selling the cups right now. Right. So I do the distribution. I do the manufacturing cut. Physically, I have really a big sore on that in my hand because I actually do it manually. Imagine 100 in every week, and then put it in cups. Then look for potential customers that will buy it. Normally, calendarias, distribute it, and then after you do the distribution, you collect it. Turn around that there is one mistake that has been done because we don't put any preservative in it. And it got spoiled. Oh my God.
This is spoilage.
Yeah.
So where went the inventory? There went the profits. And we can chalk that up as a fail.
Yes.
Okay.
The next.
Okay, so after the big Buco adventure, what did you slide into next?
The burger business.
Oh.
My wife loved to cook, and we tried like making some Buco. I know, not the Buco, but the burgers. The patties. We make the patties and so on and so forth. But it will only go let you be there up to some level, because you need to have some infrastructure.
Sure.
You have the structure of your the system itself, the procedure. We're not ready for that, but we tried and we failed again.
Okay, so you gave burgers a try. Next.
There are a few side hustles that it's not working out. Some networking in which I tried, but however I didn't succeed at that point. And then coming up, I decided to actually enroll in a seminar so that I can take the realtor examination here in the Philippines. Luckily, I passed. When I passed, I told my wife, okay, hey, this is a good start. I'm gonna jumpstart this one.
Okay, how'd that go?
While I am actually developing that, my wife also decided to say, hey, we will be in a bad situation if no one gets an income to our family. So at that time, we don't have a kid yet, and she decided to work.
Okay.
At least that's a minimum that we can get.
Right.
And I am doing the variable itself. So when I have my realty business up and running, and I'm trying to do it again with my license in it, when I checked the industry, shit, what happened? There's a lot of brokers that have been in the industry for quite some time.
Yeah.
And I asked myself, okay, hey, what could be the possible reason, or what could be the possible things that I need to do so that I can actually I can position myself? I bumped luckily I bumped up into a friend after our badminton game, and he told me, how about doing the visa stuff?
So then he said, a friend of yours suggested helping foreigners with visas.
Yes.
And how long ago was that?
2016, I started a visa.
Okay.
And have it officially registered, and up until now, it's the one actually putting in the food on the table.
Okay. So prior to 16, and all from the Buco and the first real estate adventure, how many years were you working until you got the visa idea or the inspiration from a friend?
Roughly upon graduation, that took me 12 to 13 years.
Okay. So you went from being the house helper, badminton instructor, 12 or 13 years. You tried 5 or 6 different businesses with your wife, and you just met failure after failure after failure. Did you ever get discouraged?
Up to some point, yes.
Yeah?
Human as we are.
Yeah, yeah.
But it depends on how you actually move forward and how you see things.
What kept you from just giving up and saying, okay, I'll take a job at wherever?
That dream for my family.
Okay. So you never let go of that original dream that you had when you were a little kid.
Yeah.
And you just stayed with it. So you followed that.
Yeah.
All right, so 16 you started. How many employees did you have back when you started the visa?
1. Me.
Oh, you. Did he show up on time? I mean, was he?
Yes, of course, and I need
employees out here can be a little flaky. So you were there, and you had like what, a little room with a desk or something?
Yeah. A year after 2016, I actually established a small office somewhere in Cebu.
Okay.
And it's roughly 4.5 square meters. 1 small table, my chair, and 2 receiving chairs.
Do you remember your first customer?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't, sorry.
Okay, that's no problem. No problem.
But I'll take a look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be the guy you want his picture on your wall, right?
Yeah,
that was the catalyst of it all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good.
So you got a customer, you got another customer. How did you grow that business?
I always inculcate that during my working years to give out the best possible service.
Okay.
And knowing what will be the purpose and why is it that you're actually doing that business.
Okay.
Basically, my intention before, because I have that drive to really serve people.
Okay.
Even to my employment days, and they just actually recognize it.
So it was word of mouth, maybe?
Yes.
So like if I had been your first customer and you satisfied me, did that guy go off and tell another buddy of his?
Yes.
Hey, go see JR?
Yeah, we do have that.
Yeah.
By that time, I don't know YouTube.
Okay, got it.
I don't know bloggers.
You're better off.
But eventually, when you wanted to really scale up, you need to have good partners.
Yeah. So I'm still curious now, after you had that in 2016, what were you doing by 2017?
2017, I officially have the office. A year after that, I hired my first employee.
Okay.
And
so 2 years in, you got an employee.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it wasn't a quick rocket ride up to the top or anything.
No.
Okay.
Really. And that first employee happens to be a good friend of ours, which actually on her school, and she started to be in the company as part-time because she's still doing college. And there was one time that he cried in front of me. What happened? Sir, my support from my family just cut off.
Wow.
And how many semesters are left? Probably like 2 or 1 or 2. I thought we just need to do our job. Just stay there. I'll be looking options for that.
Awesome. She's still with you?
No.
No.
But she is actually graduated. I'm very proud to say that education plays a very big important to me, because without that education, it will be your initial ticket on where are you going.
So let's fast forward to today. All right, so now you had your first employee in 2017. It's 2023, almost 2024. Where are you at today?
We are, the team members right now of the firm is at 31, including everyone, including 2 lawyers that we have retained their services to be guiding us along the way, me and my wife and me. So we're 31 right now, as of the moment.
And in a nutshell, what you do is JRC Consulting.
Yes.
And you deal with visas, immigration, primarily for guys like me that don't want to stand in line at immigration, or we're confused, or we're frustrated because it takes so long. And you help navigate through all that paperwork.
Yes.
So when I walk in, just as an example, when I first walked into immigration, it was not a fun experience, and no disrespect, but I didn't know what I was doing.
True.
And they're not there to train me. You know, they're there to take my application. And so I didn't know what a barangay was. I mean, I was just new to the Philippines. I didn't know what my address was. I didn't know my height, you know, in meters or anything. I was just confused. And it was really unpleasant. And then one day I saw your office just kind of sprang up, and we went in there, and there was a 1,000 peso service fee for you to have a young lady fill everything out for me, process everything, collect the money, give me my change, say everything's okay. They sent me a text saying it's ready, and I said I'm never going into immigration again. And so a lot of people are utilizing themselves of your service.
Yeah.
And how many offices do you have?
We currently have branches across the Philippines, around 7 this time. But this is just an initial information that we might be streamlining offices right now for us to better position strategically along the Philippines. That is still in the process of evaluation. However, we always have it in mind on how we can actually make our services better.
Awesome. And so there was a lot of questions that I wanted to get into, but maybe you and I could do a follow-up video.
Sure, no problem.
And there's guys that have asked me questions about certain visas and how to manipulate and what this means and how to do it.
Sure.
And in fact, you were with me yesterday at the meet and greet.
Yeah.
And the guy came up and slipped me a note and said, please, if you talk to JR, we asked him about this, and I forgot to bring the paper. You know, I'm a little... It's about time for my nap. Well, JR, thanks so much.
Thank you, Jim.
And let's give a plug to your service, okay? What's the name of your service? And we'll put a link to it. If guys have questions, you can email him or ask him directly about your immigration needs.
Yeah, thank you, Paul.
Sure.
Our firm is JRC Visa Consultancy and Immigration Services. And our services specifically caters for foreign nationals who wanted to relocate and live in the Philippines. And also, there's an extension with that for former Filipinos who have been granted naturalization and they want to actually regain their Filipino citizenship, we can also process dual citizenship here. Alongside with visa and immigration needs, and also with my profession as a real estate broker, we're trying to build that up, especially like just to have a little extension of what you said yesterday. There was someone who actually like asked me about regarding those and that, and we're willing to give evaluations and recommendations, let's say. At the end of the day, we're here to guide you. That would be the most appropriate, and also navigating, shall you say.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Very
there's no
important.
charge to talk to him.
Yeah.
I mean, you can come in and chat and decide whether you want to do it or not.
Sure.
And there's no pressure, there's no fees, there's none of that. So it's a very awesome setup. And again, I just want to thank you for going by the little channel here.
Thank you, Paul.
Taking the time. And we will see you crazy people in the future.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.